Thank you, Mindy. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. First thing we have on our agenda, as usual, are the approval of the minutes from last week. And Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or corrections on the minutes?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Thank you. We have 3 bids under advisement: Columbian Park Carousel Project, the Columbian Park Lagoon Dredging Improvements, and Memorial Island Phase 3. And I think some of those are coming to us next week, the 12th, I think.
Yes.
New business engineering. Jeremy?
Good morning, Jeremy Grenard, City Engineer. Our first 3 items of business are related to the Public Works Campus Phase 1 project that we opened bids for on April 14th. This will be the first phase of construction on this 15-acre site on Mccarty Lane, directly across from Cat Park and behind an existing warehouse building. So not much of it will be visible from Mccarty Lane. The first phase will build an approach to Mccarty Lane. Sorry, I'm winded. I just ran upstairs. First phase will build an approach to McCarty Lane, a salt dome with a fabric top, a brine system, storm sewer infrastructure, and bring electricity service to the site for this phase and future phases. It will also install security fencing and a gate. We've reviewed the bids and we recommend hiring the lowest responsive bidder, Alderson Commercial Group of Indianapolis. Note that of the 9 alternative bids that we read, we're accepting alternates 1, 6, 8, and 9. So first we have the notice of award. The bid was determined to be complete with all the necessary documents submitted, and we're recommending that a notice of award be made to Alderson Commercial Group.
Thank you. Chair, entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of employing Alderson Commercial Group for this Phase 1.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions regarding that? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Second, we have a contract for $1,470,834, and we're requesting your approval of that contract.
Chair, entertain a motion to approve the contract with Alderson.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions regarding that? Time frame for the project, I know you'll talk about that in a second, but is, it says November the 4th this year, basically, is?
Yeah, that would be substantial completion.
Substantial completion? Okay.
Yep.
So this is going to be on plan for the summer. Okay. We have a motion, a second, to approve the contract with Alderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
And next, we have a notice to proceed effective May 11th. And we're requesting your approval of that notice to proceed for Alderson.
Chair, entertain a motion to approve the notice to proceed on the same project.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
All right, our next order of business is change order number 1 on the Twickenham Boulevard project. This is for a change in scope regarding some storm sewer connections. The original change order started out to be over $32,000, but with the help of our designer and contractor, we got that down to just over $3,000. It's actually $3,011.58. Since this is a federal aid project, we're paying 20% of that. So this change order brings the contract amount to $3,488,818.98 for a total of 0.09% in change orders, and we're requesting the board's approval.
Chair, entertain a motion to approve change order number 1 on the Twickenham Drive reconstruction.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions about that? How's that coming along?
It's coming along well. They're on schedule.
Good, good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Lafayette Renew.
Good morning, Brad Talley, Lafayette Renew. First item you have is a supplemental agreement number 2 with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert regarding the Pearl River sewer relocation project easements. This project has been on a pretty aggressive schedule, so we haven't been able to get the easements in place until now. And so what we'd like to do is go through and with this contract do the easement engineering, and Butler Fairman will perform this work in the not to exceed compensation of $52,880, bringing the total contract amount to $706,852. I recommend your approval.
Thank you. Chair, entertain a motion to approve the supplemental agreement number 2 with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions regarding that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you. The second item is with Christopher Burke Engineering for a preliminary engineering report for the Vinton Woods Drainage Project. The Vinton Woods ponds were installed with the neighborhood in the 1960s and were designed for approximately 130 acres of drainage. Today, with ongoing development, it drains approximately 521 acres through Munger Park and other developed areas. So we need to evaluate this. This has been identified with our original stormwater program as actually the last project that we had identified back in 2009. The mayor brought that up yesterday. So we're very excited to be getting to the end of those original projects.
Great.
Christopher Burke will perform the work in this contract for the not to exceed amount of $84,700. I'd like to point out that roughly $37,000 of that is for survey work. So there's a lot of survey work that has to be done in order to get the preliminary engineering report.
Okay. Chair, entertain a motion to approve this agreement with Christopher Burke Engineering for Vinton Woods Drainage Project.
So moved. Second.
Let me ask a question. Is the drainage pond in Vinton Woods, is it privately held or is it a public property?
The city's been maintaining those ponds for
Since the beginning?
at least for the last 15, 20 years.
15, 20 years? So it's,
Once Munger Park went online, that changed the drainage area and made them become more of a public.
when Munger Park was developed, did we have some sort of agreement with Vinton Woods that they would,
That I couldn't,
they would agree to accept the flow of,
couldn't tell you.
okay, all right. So it's one of those things, are we gonna look at the scope of the pond or the depth or what's the,
What we see, the depth of the ponds is a huge issue. There's just not, they filled in with silt over the years.
Right.
And it's just not enough capacity to hold the drainage area that goes there. So we'll look at the depth of the ponds, the flow patterns of the ponds. Can we modify, there's currently 3, can we just make it 2 with a silt basin or something to
Yeah.
that effect? So we're just going to take a look at the overall operations of those ponds, how they hold the water, how they drain, and see how best to make those.
what's happening now since it's not really built for that? What's the ramification of that right now?
Street flooding, a lot of
Street
street
flooding?
flooding. Yeah, there's just we have several catch basins in the lower area that just can't drain. They would naturally drain into the ponds.
Yeah.
And when those ponds get full due to the lack of capacity, the water will stay on the streets.
Yeah,
And so after a good hard rain, you'll see
so it becomes
street
very,
flooding.
very wet back there. Yeah, okay,
Yep.
all right.
And then we see a lot of channel erosion past the ponds. So if we can lower the velocity of the water that leaves the ponds, that erosion will be able to slow that energy down and slow the erosion down.
Will there have to be construction through Vinton Woods other than at the pond?
Yeah, at the ponds, we'll have to do some sort of construction.
So they need to be
And
prepared for that.
dredging, there's several things that we could take a look at. Bank stabilization for sure. We did the lower pond maybe 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
Where we stabilized the bank with rock.
That big.
And so the other 2 will, definitely I think we'll have to make them deeper.
Okay,
And then we'll see what the banks look like, if they need stabilized or not.
so do we have, I'm sorry to ask all the
You're fine.
questions, but do we have with those, the things that are coming from Munger Park into Vinton Woods, do we have easements for the drainage that's coming actually in. Do we have,
Have to
does
check
the city
on
have
that.
easements for that?
I would assume so, but I'll have to check on that.
Like a little creek
Yeah.
channel that runs through there.
I think we need to make sure we're tightening up all that stuff to make sure we understand whose property we're on and
Yep.
making sure we have an agreement with the neighborhood.
Yep.
That was talked about when we first did this. We actually had a meeting with the neighborhood a long time ago. We tried to apply for a grant to do this, and we didn't get it, so, we had met with the neighborhood and just went preliminarily over that, and we have to remind them, because that long time
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
that started breaking the news that, it's gonna be smelly
Yeah,
and yucky. While
right.
the construction piece of it goes on, but it's something for the neighborhood and for the city that needs to
Okay.
get done.
I mean, while we're in here, we'll tighten everything up and make sure that.
Yeah, I'm just suggesting we make sure we do the
Yep.
legal side of this to make sure everybody knows who's on first. Okay?
I look at it as a science project for the kids in the neighborhood. Or biology, whatever.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this one before we vote? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brad. We have purchasing. So we have some surplus property. I don't think anybody needs to present this from the fire department. Chair intend a motion to approve this declaration of surplus property.
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any questions regarding that?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Thank you. Claims.
Good morning, everyone. Tim Clary, City Controller. Knowing Superintendent Talley, that might be a pretty good fishing hole at some point.
Yeah,
So-
that's all right.
Controller's Office, we have reviewed the claims in the amount of $992,836.60. We ask for your approval.
Chair intend a motion to approve the claims.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Tim, anybody have any questions? I have a couple questions. You have any questions, Amy?
I don't.
Okay. On page 11, just this, I'm just curious, with DeFowles, there's a couple invoices for DeFowles for bed bugs. And I'm wondering, remove bed bugs. Is that the bed bug I'm thinking about?
Yes, that is the bed bug you're thinking about.
So is that a police car, or is that, it's a police car? Or
Right.
cars?
Uh-huh. They
Okay.
were detected, and so the Fowles has the ability then to go in.
Fumigate and,
Fumigate and
All right.
get the vehicles rid of dreaded bed bugs. Yep.
okay. Then, there's lots of rent payments, which I know we ask about all the time, but that's part of Adam's program?
That's correct, the Shelter Plus Care Program.
Right, okay. Those are all related to that program.
Right, got various different landlords that we pay
Okay,
for those services.
thank you. Any other questions? None? Okay, we have a motion, a second for the claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Thank you. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And then we have a special event request for Outfest. And let me get this pulled up. This is going to be on, my iPad comes alive here. This is going to be on August the 15th. They're asking for access from 8 a.m. to midnight that night, and August the 15th. I think that's a Saturday, is it not?
I believe so.
Okay. And this is Family and Street Fair. They have their outline. They have the good neighbor letters that are here. I think everything looks like it's in order. So Chair intend a motion to approve the approval of the special event request, obviously subject to the restrictions that we would have as a community from the COVID-19 problems.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any questions or comments about that? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Thank you. That's it for the agenda. Anybody have any announcements, anybody? No announcements today? Okay, that's it. Thanks for meeting. Thank you, everybody.